living good back in the woods.
Afternoon, guys. Dave Canterbury with Pathfinder School, back with another Journal of the Tipi. What we're going to discuss today is we're going to discuss some basic finger weaving techniques. We're going to use jute twine. We're going to make a new matching or more matching strap for my basket quiver for my bow and arrow set. I have a leather strap on there. It's been there for a long time, but I'd like to make something that more matches it natural material wise, like some type of natural cordage like jute. And I've got two different colors here. I've got green, I've got tan. I'm going to show you how you set this up and show you some basic finger weaving techniques. And if you understand basic finger weaving, if you understand weaving like Steve Critter Davis showed in one of his videos when he made a tump line strap, and if you understand how to braid, you can do a lot of things for yourself by making things with natural cordage. You can make leg ties, you can make straps, you can make carrying handles. You can make baskets. There's a lot of things that you can do if you understand basic weaving techniques. So I'm going to show you a basic finger weaving technique that I think will come in real handy for you in the future. Stay with me and we'll get it set up. Okay guys, so I've got an arrow shaft here. Just a regular raw shaft that I haven't really worked yet too much. And I'm going to put that up inside the rafters up here. Not the rafters, but the stays of the teepee right here in between two of them, just like this, just to hold it in place. And that's what I'm going to work off of. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take my lines that I've already cut, and I've basically cut lines that are double the length that I think I'm going to need and a little bit more. And I have 2 green lines and 4 of the regular tan lines. So that's going to give me 4 and 8 when I'm done, because like I said, I'm going to double it up. I'm just going to hold my stay here, put it over the top, put it through itself to form the loop. Just like that. And then I'm going to pull it down tight. And that will give me 2 lines running down. And I'll do the same thing, except these will be brown, 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 and green on the other end. Okay guys, I'm hoping I've got this so you can see what I'm doing real well here. I've got 2 of the green lines on the outsides, and then I've got 8 of the brown lines on the inside. And I've just put those, secured those on there with, you know, a clove hitch basically. To start this, what you're going to do is you're going to take your outside line and you're basically going to weave it in. So it doesn't matter whether you go over or under the first time, it really doesn't make a difference. So I'm going to go under, over, under, keeping my lines separated. I got to make sure I know which lines are which here. And you can spread these out just a little bit if you want to, if it helps you keep them straight. You can spread these out just a shade. So I went under that one, so I'm going over this one, under that one, over this one, under that one, over this one, under that one, over, under, okay? And that becomes my first weft, if that's what you want to call it. And then I'm going to bring that up, and what that's going to become now is that's going to become my last line. So I'm going to start over on this side doing exactly the opposite. So this line, if I look at this line, I'm over it. So I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over, and I'm just separating them to see where I'm at. Under, over, under, over, and now this last line that I just pulled off to the side there, okay, I'm going to drop it down now, and I need to go under it because the last one I went was over, and then I'll set that one off to the side, and that's going to be my last line. And I'm pulling it tight every time as I go. Now this one's going to become my outside line, and I'm going to go under, over, under, over, under, over. And this gets a little confusing, especially if you're using the same color lines. When you're going through the browns like that, it's going to get a little bit confusing. And then again, I got to drop that last line at the bottom, because that's going to be under now. And then I'll pull all that up tight, pull all my lines tight, and that line becomes my last line. Okay? And then I start over again here. Under, over, under, over, under, over. I'm separating them as I go. Over, under, over. And then again, you know, I've got this line hanging. I drop it down, and I went over this one, so I'm going to go under that one. Pull that up there and set it to the side. Pull everything nice and tight. And you can see what I'm getting here now is a woven strap. Now I'll separate this back out a little bit so I know where I'm at. Here's my outside line. Over, under, over, under, over. And you can look at these when you're spreading them out with your fingers. You can see if you were under that one, then you're going to go over it this time. If you're over that one, then you're going to go under it this time, so you don't lose your place on where you're at. You just can't get your lines tangled up in there, or you'll lose your place. You won't know where you're at. Now I'm all the way through there again. I'm going to drop this line down. I went over this one, so that's an under. And drop it down. Pull everything tight again. And set that one off to the side. Then I'll spread them out a little bit so I know where I'm at, because I can pull that tight on the return run there, easy enough. There's my most outside line. Over, under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay. Now that's where you got to make sure you're not confused. So I went under that one, so I should be going over that one. So I've got a line right there that's confused, okay? So I've got to figure that out. So I'll separate this out a little bit. What I've done here is I've picked up the wrong line. I should have picked that line up right there and went over that one and under that one. And it's pretty easy to see that when you pull them apart. Now I'm to the end again. I'll drop this line down, and that's an under that line. I'll pull these two lines tight, get this one up out of the way, and I'm ready to start again. You can see what I'm getting here is a woven strap that's going to have a green line running down through it, and over time this line is going to migrate its way over, so it'll be a diagonal line. It will go back and diagonal down. Okay, I'm hoping you guys can see this real well, and I'm not too tight on it for you to be able to see it. So we went down to where now we've got this green stripe has ran all the way across. Okay, and now again we've just got to find our most outside line. Under, over. Let's make sure we're right. See, that one went under, so that's not right. So we should be going over this one right here and under that one. Like I said, you just got to pay attention, and it takes time. That's why actual finger woven things that people make, when people actually finger weave things to sell them, guys like Alec Foreman that I know that actually finger weave stuff a lot better than I could ever do it, charge a lot of money for stuff like this because it takes a lot of time to do it. This kind of stuff isn't something that you whip right out. This stuff takes a long time to do. And you can see, and we've probably been at this for 10 minutes, and we got about, 3 inches of strap here. So this kind of stuff takes a while. You got to keep this stuff separated so you don't get it knotted up and you understand where you're at. can just pull that last one tight. It'll yank everything up tight and taut the way it should be for you. And then you just got to go back and find your most outside line and start over. You just got to make sure you got the right line in your hand. And you'll be able to tell that after you do it a few times. It's not that big a deal if you have to undo it to do it again, to find if you lose your place or something. You just got to keep this stuff separated so you know where you're at. And you're doing it all with your fingers, and that's why it's called finger weaving. And it's confusing to look at, for sure. I wouldn't argue that in the least. But once you get the concept down, it's not that difficult. Okay guys, so I've been at this for probably at least a half an hour. And I've got, you know, what, probably close to 8 inches of strap here in a half an hour. And you can see how that green line runs over here, switches the other side and runs down, goes across the back, okay? And that's the pattern it's going to have. It'll be, you know, just a stripe pattern of the green and the tan. This is not a project you sit and do in one shot, you know, unless it's a rainy day and you got nothing better to do, because this is hours of work. Like I said, you know, this represents about a half an hour for 8 inches. You're talking about 4 hours probably to finish the strap. Okay guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the third installment in the Journal of the Tipi. A little bit of basic finger weaving. I wanted to show you guys how to do that today. There's going to be a lot of projects we're going to do during this TP series. A lot of them are going to be primitive type projects. I think primitive skills are important. Not that you should rely on them and nothing else in a survival situation. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that the more you understand primitive skills, the more tools you have to fall back on in an emergency if you lose your gear or damage your gear. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your views. I appreciate everything that you do for me, for my family, and for my business. I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School, and I'll be back with another Diary of the TP as soon as I can.